Hello, here we are. Dive in live. Whatever number we're at. So, I got Michael Kinsel from d&baudio joining me today, which is great. I can't wait to show you what we're about to do, and what we've been working on for 2 years. Or maybe longer, and even the guys that invented this whole technology of D&B probably worked on it for way longer. But talk to you about it later. Let me know if something is too loud, because I might be a bit too loud. I'm not sure. Let's see. Like this. Hello, hello. Yeah, I think it's okay. If something is wrong or off, please let me know. Let me know if you're here. That's also super cool, because it's nice to know that I'm not just talking to my computer. Even though we're going to get super geeky today, so hope you you come and hang out. So yeah, d&baudio, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to call Michael. It's a project where they've been working with Kraftwerk and with Imogen Heap to create something that has never been made before. So you got sound traveling all around your ears in the future. There have been some experiments already with Max Cooper and others, and it's cool. Technology asks for it, but it comes with a lot of other stuff that we need to fix. Look at it. We've got Nikesh in the house. Nice. Johan is here, my friend. Yeah, I'm loud and clear. Super. Yeah, if I'm gonna play some music in a bit, let me know if that's good. Look, and I've fixed my comments, so everybody that says something here, you got some nice picture. Johan was on a holiday, so to see. Super nice. Michelle is also here. Yes, it's nice. Yeah, Soundscape technology, guys. It's ridiculous. Alex Thompson tuning in from Malta. Malta. Nice to see you, bro. Hope you're good. Yeah, awesome. Cool, you're tuning in. Make sure to stay tuned, or to tune in again at 8:30, because I'm going to call Michael and he's going to show us a lot about the Soundscape technology, which I hope is the future. It's going to be difficult. It's just gonna take some time for us all to have multiple speakers in our studio. Like I was speaking to Tripjag the other week, like to Francesco, who already has like 8 karaoke's in the studio. I'm also gonna show you how you can use that. So I'm gonna show you a bit of things in Ableton, and most of the things I'm going to be showing you are about movements. I'm going to do a tutorial today, like about how to make your sounds move in your music, and to keep it interesting, because movement is what it's all about. We've been testing the Soundscape system, and there you can move sounds from front to back, all the way around you and whatnot. But it has certain rules and regulations, and therefore we always do these playgrounds, the DJ playgrounds that we did in Germany and in England, and it's nice. But yeah, more about that in a bit. So let's jump to the Ableton. So last week with Lucien was really nice. We talked a lot about gear, which was super cool. And yeah, today I want to talk about movement. Movement is really interesting. Actually, Paul Nolan, who is also involved in the D&B Soundscape sort of like playground team that we became part of. He says, or I heard him say once, like, if you have your sounds all at the same spot and nothing is changing, it's going to be a bit boring at some point. It's like people living near a busy road or near a airport, and you go eat with them, and then you go like, wow, don't you get like sick of all these planes passing by? But people don't hear it anymore at some point, because they live there for such a long time. Their brain literally shuts off. Your brain knows, like, okay, this is always the same. So the same is with your music. You want to make it move in order to keep it interesting for the listener. So Sonny's here as well. Thanks for tuning in, Sonny. Hi. Great. Sonny followed my beginner's course. I hope you're doing well. It's time for a meetup soon, and looking forward to the new tracks. So yeah, also, as you're watching here anyway, if you know anybody that wants to start a musical journey, or wants to get back into, or like motivate their musical journey, I've got beginners courses and advanced courses starting in August, the first week on the 4th and the 6th. So if you know anybody, make sure to let them know. I've got a special offer. It's €100 discount. It's still valid today and tomorrow. So make sure to let your buddy or your friend know. Okie dokie. So movement. which is important. Nice. Sonny's always tuning in. Yeah, super nice. Thanks, bro. Anyway, so we got here the... I just made a quick percussion idea, or like a hats idea. Maybe I should add like a open hat to it, which is nice maybe to show you. Let's take this open hat here and make one a bit softer than the other. If you hold command, you can just make this one softer. Otherwise, you're maybe picking this one. So it's good to make one a bit softer and one a bit louder like this. So that's cool. And it's not working because the short hi-hat is like muting the guy. So let's... There you go. It's a bit too much difference. I'm gonna make this softer. Yeah, Lorenzo's gonna join the course. I know, super nice. At least I think he's gonna join. I think he's eligible for the course. That's great. Yeah, always if you sign up for the course, I always check if it's useful. You know, if you really need it. Maybe you're not a beginner anymore, or you know, I always check with people if it's suitable, because I want you to spend your money wisely. All right, so we have the hi-hats here. Hit me with that 909. Analog Kitchen in the house. What's up, bro? Here we're playing Paradigm next week. We're gonna play in the north with our friends from Paradigm. So if you're in the north, next week, I think it's next week Friday, we'll be playing together, Lucien. So what a stream can do in the world, you know. So we're playing together with Ari, Lucien and me. So that's gonna be really cool. So yeah, create movement. In the drum rack, there you have this hi-hat here. And like this, it might be a bit boring. You can use movement also with velocity, like I just did, creating a bit of variation with the velocity. But it's also good to, like, you know, add some random panning, which is this guy here. So yeah, just listen to it when I open it. It will go left and right. So you can make it a bit less intense, just maybe a bit, just for the movement. It will greatly spice up your beats, you know. So it's way more. So now it starts way more jumpy and interesting, which is cool. And maybe you want to make it a bit less, you know. I usually have it around 30, something like this, 25, 28, whatever. And it's nice to keep things moving like this. And it's actually really healthy to have stuff move around. So if I would have a pad, let's take this guy for a pad. Hey teacher, Fantasia is online. Welcome. Are you an Amsterdam citizen already? I think you moved, right? Great, welcome. So let's play this guy here. Okay, let's make this a bit like this. So also movement is really important. You can move with filters. Have this go up over time. So let's just play a chord. And also don't forget about the MIDI effects, right? We have chord, and there's a lot of them. I made a few myself, the 7th, 9th and 14th, which is great if you... Sounds nice. You really want to have these jazz chords. Amsterdam calling, yeah, nice. This is nice. So we take this chord, let's say the D. Nice, let's play something. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Had a little double finger. Let's delete this one. So now, this is nice, but it's not moving. Like wow, you know, it's like a bit annoying. It's like the cat outside that wants to get in. So if you go to audio effects, you take an auto filter, or you can just take this guy here, this filter. You can also take an LFO, of course, and I've been showing LFOs earlier. If you go to Max for Live, you say, all right, I want an LFO. And you take this LFO and you drop it there. You can map it to this frequency. Make it go really slow with the rate. And make the depth a bit less. And then offset it a bit to the right so it stays a bit high. Maybe still slower. Maybe not so high. Quantize these notes for a bit. Command A, Shift Command U. Boom. So now, the track feels way more moving, and it's way more interesting basically. Take it a bit softer, add some reverb. Nice. See, so now it's like a little bit of music that's moving up, that's moving down, it's like going left and right. But it's that easy just to create something interesting as long as it's moving, you know. Life's only interesting if you're moving, you know. You gotta keep moving. So that's interesting. Hey Camiel, hey Anastasia, thank you for tuning in. Really nice. There's a lot of people actually already for the D&B show. Shall I warm you up with a nice little video about D&B, which is great. Oh, I can't wait. They also have sessions. They had sessions with Robert Henke, the guy who made Ableton actually, or one of the founders of Ableton, which is great. Thank you, Robert, if you're watching. Okay, let's check this out.
Creo que en un futuro no muy lejano todos lo usaremos. Yo puedo ponerte el bombo aquí, pero te puedo poner el raíz aquí atrás. Es completamente diferente lo que percibes que si escuchas en un equipo convencional y sale el L y R convencional y entonces te viene todo en bloque. Soy muy fan de D&B. Nunca he tocado con un sistema D&B que no me quedara contento, la verdad. Además, el equilibrio entre los medios y los graves es de lo mejor que hay.
Ooh, that's interesting, right? It's such an amazing thing. It's crazy. It's gonna be the future. I hope, you know. And Michael's gonna tell us all about it and show us all the projects they're working on. You know, D&B, for the ones who don't know D&B, it's like a speaker brand that's been here for I think more than 100 years. The company exists. I've been to their factory in Backnang. They invited me to come there and see the whole factory. It's amazing. And I've never seen such a bunch of happy people building speakers. But it's not just a speaker. It's really, really a piece of art, and it sounds amazing. And you know, they have a really big hall there, and they let me try this system out. And wow, it's next level. Like, we've been listening to stereo for more than 60 years, I believe I was told. So it's time for something new, and it's coming. So hold on tight. Let's see, we got some stuff coming in here. A trick to keep the 9 heads sizzling is to put a light bit crush on them. And an LA2A. Not everybody has an LA2A, Lucien. They'll get some real attack and plugins will sound like the real thing. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, you can use the waves or the UAD for the LA2A. But yeah, the bit crush is nice. I recently found out about, I just... this erosion on the heads is also nice. Let's see, where are you? It's the E from erosion. There you go. So let's add this to the heads. It's also nice on synths. Actually, I got this from Joko the other day. And you can automate this as well, which is cool. You can also use final distortion, it's also nice. But on hi-hats, I think it's nice to have this. And then the cool thing is, of course, automate this stuff with an LFO. So it's all about movement. And I think, you know, if you keep stuff moving, and you can obviously do it, you can draw this all in with automation, or you can just use LFOs only, you know, to make stuff move really random. So we can Command D and then map this LFO to this value, and there it goes. So now it should actually do two things. Let's see. Make this go. Like, you can also use a random wave here, binary or random. Why is this one not working? That's not right. Let me delete this guy. Yeah, so this one needs to be mapped. Maybe you can do it to the same thing here. There you go. That's cool. So you can make it really weird, and best is to use two LFOs, I guess, but you can also do random, so it will jump all kinds of places. That's cool. But not too much. You don't want it to do too much. So maybe you want to make a dry wet chain. You can make a dry wet chain in it as well if you group this device. and you make one with and one without the erosion, and then you use a chain here so you can actually dial between them, which is maybe also nice to do, so that you don't use the full erosion, which is going to be a bit too much. So here we go. This actually, I need to make a tutorial on this, how you can make a dry wet chain, and I'm not sure if everybody knows this. We have Wadowski in the house. What up, Wadowski? Thank you for always being present. Super nice. Rick de P, my old sound education guy. Nice you're here. Welcome. So maybe this goes a bit fast with the whole chain, but you can always rewind the videos, and there's a lot of videos online. I've been doing this for many weeks, so there's a lot of stuff online. So this chain, we can map it. So if we have this device, this whole thing, we can map this chain selector to this button. Now I can select between erosion only or no erosion. So no erosion, erosion. So now I can find this crush a bit halfway in the middle, which is nice, which is cool. And now this erosion is still, so if we have this guy again to, there you go. So now it's always a bit changing, but it's not too much. So it's dry, this wet. So you can make everything move. You can use all kinds of plugins and just make a move with LFOs and have this go all the time. Also with the clap I have here actually, which is also nice to have one clap always a bit louder than the other one. So if you have here, why not make this a bit louder, that it's like, and it's all these little details that will make your groove way more interesting in the end. You know, you can even, maybe what's cool to do is take your sidechain as well and automate a sidechain, or the level of your sidechain over time. So if you put a compressor on this lead and you sidechain it with the kick, with this guy, and you take the threshold down. Now it's quite intense, but if you try an LFO on there, why not? Let's see. Make it move and map it to this threshold. It should be 100%. Yeah, there you go. Now it's going really fast, but maybe you don't want it to go too fast or go like all the way there. You can actually set the levels so that it only goes like a little bit, which is really cool. And then you have way more variations. You can try all these different variations in with all these I love LFOs. I think in my next live I'm gonna come back as an LFO. And there's Duncan. Hello, Rumi. Nice you're watching. You're probably watching from next door. We were having a barbecue with some friends. And Rollins is here. Hey, Rollins. Super nice you're tuning in. Check out the D&B stuff. Rollins is going to be on the show in 2 weeks. The guy makes amazing music. It's him and his son there. Makes amazing music and knows a lot about the UAD plugins and is releasing on Fuse and whatnot. So he's making really cool stuff. So that's nice. So yeah, it's cool. I've got here a little bit of music. So a nice thing also, like, yeah, the bass, you guys probably have seen me make a bass before here, but I like this one a lot. Take a square wave, make it small, here you go. Whoop. Make it short, add it here, make this a bit shorter, low. Now we got a bass line, yeah. And this is the FM. If you're not familiar with FM and what operators are, there's this really good tutorial I always use in my classes. It's I think it's David Chang, or that's his name. He's got a really cool tutorial on FM synthesis, and he does it with like little sticks and draws the waveforms, which is really insightful. So in order to understand this operator, it's really nice. So I have this carrier, these modulators here. So basically, if you wanna, this one is now modulating this one, and this one is modulating this one. And you can hear if I change it a bit, it changes the sound. So what I like to do, if I place in here a bass sound, let's say, what did I play? A chord, a C chord maybe or so. Let's say we're in C. Let's play something cool. That's very high for bass. So shift down. Let's make it like this. Make this an octave higher. And this goes up again. There you go. Make them a bit longer. Let's make it a bit longer and then move them. We're gonna move them a bit. Make them longer. Okay, just for show you this. So here we take now an LFO in Max for Live, and we add it. Good vibes. Hey, Jordi, our kite instructor. Are you a kite instructor already? He's become a kite instructor. Okay, so make it a bit slower. I like slower LFOs. You can also put them on the beat, of course, but I like to have it not going on the beat. So now you see this one going really slow, and it always changes, so it's always different. And if it's too loud, you just go make it less deep, so that the button doesn't go all the way. That's cool, right? You can also make another one and do it to the other one. Do it to this one. That's nice. So now everything is moving. The lead's moving, the hi-hats are moving, the bass is moving, and it's super cool to work this way. Make it a bit more deep. And this way you can create all kinds of variations with LFOs on things and movement. Another thing that I really like is auto pan, which is just a standard Ableton audio effect, which is great. Auto pen, where are you? Here you are. And the more movement you add, the more nicer it's going to be. So now the pad will go left and right. You can also make it crazy. Left and right. And this is crazy, you know. And can you imagine that if you have more options, if you not only have left and right, but you have front and back and everything in between, and it's ridiculous, you know. You should see it like this on Soundscape. We have the option to place every channel of audio that comes out of Ableton becomes an object in the software of the DS100, the system that's orchestrating the whole thing, the whole placement of sounds in the system of D&B. And you can just take one sound just with your finger, you can move it all the way through the room, and you literally see it flying around the room. And it's a bit like surround panner that you have here from Max for Live. So if you want to try out some more stuff yourself with surround stuff, if you have a sound card with multiple outputs, you can use surround panner from Max for Live, and you can set it up like, okay, I have 4 speakers, then you have 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and you can actually pan them in the back. You can pan sounds left or right. I don't have it here, so I just have 2 speakers. I'm very old school nowadays. But you can also make 8, you know, like 8, and then you can actually start making your own sort of soundscape vibe. This is different. This is only volume based. In the Soundscape technology, it also calculates the delay which should come out of each speaker to really literally place the sound there. So you can see it like the resolution of the system is just way higher than something like this. But this is really cool because you can have sounds travel all around, you know. If you have this on for instance this lead, you know, and I would have all these systems set up, I would be able to record automation, you know, record this is on, put this on, and then I can just record and have this, have it go left and right. and then it will probably move. See, and then you can, and this is basically what we are doing with Soundscape as well, but then because it uses a virtual sound card from Dante, it's called, and it's like you can have 32 or 64 virtual outputs. It goes through your Ethernet to their system, and every channel that you send, you can do audio to, and to one of these 64 outputs. So basically, if you have 64 outputs, you can have 64 objects and put them anywhere in the room. So your whole idea of mixing is changing, and it's not only two speakers where everything has to go out. You don't have to cut the low end there and make a little dip at 400 hertz, because it doesn't have to come out of two speakers. It comes out of all the speakers, and if something is in the way, you just put it there and the other one there or the other one there, and you can it's endless. So this is really nice to do, and this is a bit of a start, because the sound that you're placing all the way to the right in the back is not conflicting with the sound which is all the way up front. So that's really interesting. And what we notice with Soundscape is that everything that's low end still needs to come from the front, but and all the rhythmic stuff also sort of like on a stage in front, because if you're all the way in the back with your hi-hats, if the room is going to be bigger than 50 meters or 30 meters, you're going to get physical delay, and we can't change the speed of sound. Now can we? So there's my friend Ben. Hi Ben. No worries, you're late. You're just in time for Michael. So this is like how you can do it yourself. Just on each output of your sound card, you put a speaker. Like Francesco had 8 KRKs in his room, and or something like this, 6 or 8, and you can just have one here, and then you can just pan around in your room. It's a great feeling to make music like this, or to make sound like this, and they've been using it for musicals as well. For Soundscape, they're using it in musicals and theaters as well, and it's great how you can use it to enhance a story with having sound coming all over and all around you, and can be useful for healing sessions where you can heal people with with frequencies, so it's really interesting. So more of the story: make your stuff move. When you move it goes all around, which is nice, and it keeps the listener engaged, and also yourself if you have to listen to your own music for a long time when you're jamming. All right, Jordi, good luck with your exam then for the kite instructor. I'm going to show you another video, and then I think it's about time to call Michael. He'll probably be ready for me. Let me see. I'm going to send him the meeting. Forgot to do that. So I'm going to show you this video, and I'll be right back.
This is the first time I'm working with an immersive system. We have 5 clusters in the center, which is 3 line array speakers, each one of them. Then we have 22 speakers going around the venue. And then we have the subsystem. And then we have a front field as well. These 4 parts of the system, let's say, they collide in the processor, the DS100. This processor is the interface between the engineers and the system itself. The only thing you have to decide is where you want to place the things in the room, and the system does it for you.
Ooh, isn't that nice? So I have the call with Mike already, so we just have to wait for him. But who's had experience? Who's been to a Max Cooper concert or something like this? Because there's a lot of other people actually doing these things, and I believe that D&B did it with Kraftwerk. They did shows, and with Imogen Heap, but also in Amsterdam was this show with sort of like 3D, 4D, whatever D sound. I don't know if somebody has been. Jordi, of course, Jordi, always the first one to go. So how cool? How was it? Did you enjoy it? It's nice, right? It's like a whole new world. I can't wait for it to be in all the rooms basically, and all the parties, if parties ever going to be the same. But yeah, it's nice. I did a show at Dance Fair, a live set, like I think was it last year? It's not this year. It was last year that I did it, and people really were amazed that sound could go all around you, and which is really interesting that it works like that. So let me check with Michael where he is, if he can find it. I'll just play you video number 1 again, so I can get time to contact him.
Creo que en un futuro no muy lejano todos lo usaremos. Yo puedo ponerte el bombo aquí, pero te puedo poner el raíz aquí atrás. Es completamente diferente lo que percibes, que si escuchas en un equipo convencional y sale el L y R convencional y entonces te viene todo en bloque. Soy muy fan de D&B. Nunca he tocado con un sistema D&B que no me quedara contento, la verdad. Además, el equilibrio entre los medios y los graves es de lo mejor que hay.
All right, I guess I have to keep talking for a bit. Let's see. Oh, Zoom says I'm in another session. All right, great, thanks. Let me end this session. End meeting for all. Let's see. You know, I gotta love technology. Okay, so start. Should be this one. Please try again. Let's see. Ah, there he is. The man. Let me put you on. Let me put you online.
Let me end this session.
There you go.
Camiel.
Hey. So we're online. Let me change to gallery view. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen,
Can you hear me?
Mr. Michael Kinsel. Yes, I can hear you very well. I think the people can also hear you.
Cool.
Let's see. Here we are.
Good to see you again.
We got 23 people watching on all the platforms, so that's nice. We have an audience now talking about the nerdiness.
Excited.
So, how's it going?
Well, not too bad. So I'm based up here in Hamburg. Sun is shining. I'm still stationed at home, so I'm working from home. So while the factory of D&B is near Stuttgart in the south, actually, let me correct this, we are not 100 years old, so it's just 39.
Oh, I thought it was 100 years. Or the building. It sounds cool though, yeah. I thought it was way older. I think I got it because the factory was like really old, right? Where I came, the building. I think.
Yeah, this is actually, I think they did it like 250 years ago. There was a kind of leather industry in Backnang.
Yeah.
And then this is what was originally in these old red brick buildings. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the buildings are really old, but we took them over step by step in the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
About 39 years anyway. So.
Yeah. So yeah, because I think I confused with this. To be honest, I thought D&B is like 100 years old. All right. Anyway, I'm glad to have you here, Michael. Maybe you can tell people a bit who you are and what you do for D&B, because you're also obviously working from home now because you're the segment manager. So yeah, just you can tell it.
Yeah, and while I'm just saying behind me in the camera, just. So since this is a very casual session.
Yes.
So because in one of my last, I mean, you can imagine I'm doing lots of video calls over the last couple of months. And in one of the calls, somebody asked me, who is this lady behind you with the curly hair? And I was like, huh, behind me? And this is actually me in the tender age of 21 being on stage in one of my favorite venues. So it's the Capitol in Hanover, North Germany, which was one of my favorite venues. And I was actually originally a heavy metal musician from the scene in Hanover, which was late 80s, early 90s of the last century, kind of the hard rock city #1 across Europe. You know, bands like Scorpions are coming from the city.
Yeah.
And I was part of that scene. And the normal story, if you don't end up as a rock star, you have to do pro audio. And that happened to me.
Yeah, cool. Well, it's nice. I really. And what is the name of the band? Can we find it online still? Are there videos?
And this is actually scary. I found some real cool fans, and they actually uploaded our stuff on YouTube, and you can still find all the songs. And the band was called Alien on My Mind.
Nice.
So really progressive mental stuff, you know.
How cool!
And it is there. And actually, we had a record deal in Japan in 1996. And Japanese guys are real, true heavy metal fans, and they translated all the lyrics into Japanese and so on.
Wow!
This is already where the combination starts. So when I didn't become a rock star, I entered the pro audio scene, and actually one of my first projects in the early 2000s was the Pacha on Mallorca. So not the original Pacha on Ibiza, but the Mallorca outlet.
Yeah.
And I had to set up a system, among others, for Carl Cox. So, and this is then actually the combination. So I still love heavy metal, hard rock music, and my second love is electronic music. And so, yeah, and since 3 years, so I'm doing this for more than 20 years now, pro audio, and since 3 years I'm working for D&B as a segment manager for life and entertainment, but with a global view. So it's a global position. And yeah, the link to Soundscape, very easy, is 4 days before I joined D&B, I had my own Soundscape demo in the big demo room, which is like 35 by 80 meters. And we had a video track from Nigel Stanford.
Oh, yeah.
Automatica. And I mean, I'm very much a fan of putting high-end technology into the mainstream, you know, to make it usable for everybody. And when I saw and heard this demo, it was right away clear for me, okay, I need to find a way to put this or make this available for almost everybody, you know, including DJs and crazy producers like Camiel Daamen.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad you made this decision, because I cannot wait for it to happen, you know. And also you did the same thing, of course, with biodynamic, right? If it's going to be something like this, then we're in for a treat, because I cannot wait for to have my own DS100 here in the studio. I think Duncan also can. He's right there. You can see him through the glass.
Yeah, you're actually wearing your biodynamic headphones, yeah?
Yeah, I'm a big fan, yeah.
So the good things are all coming together, cool.
Exactly, yeah, the circle is round, yeah. So we've been working together on the DJ Playground, of course. For the people watching, I was doing a workshop at Amsterdam Dance Event for SAE, and Michael thought, who's this happy guy? I need him in the team. He's a nerd, he's a smiley nerd. So then he approached me to join the team, and here we are. Like 3 playgrounds further, 4 playgrounds did we do? I'm not sure.
Before we dive into the playgrounds, what do you think? Should we use the video with Serge Grefe from Kraftwerk to explain what Soundscape is?
That's maybe nice, yeah. If you can share your screen, that would be great. Let me...
Do you have it in the link? I sent you the...
Yeah, I can only show the link as in the link, which is probably...
Okay.
This the front of house. But I just so that people can watch it themselves. But you can also place the link in the chat if you want, so people can actually click it themselves or watch it later. No, I have the links here. But yeah, it's really a bit hard because they're unclickable. I need to find a way to make it clickable, though.
All right.
I'm still
I just share my screen, just a second.
Let me try and put you on a big screen.
After all these months, I'm a professional screen sharer now.
Yeah. I saw it today when we did the test. Let me remove your Michael Kinzel thing. So
can you see and hear it?
Yeah.
I'm Serge Grefe and I'm the front of house engineer for Kraftwerk. What we are doing here today in Hall 14 is preparing a song for fair shows for D&B from Kraftwerk. I was working with a new Soundscape on small and big shows and it's amazing.
My name's Tony David Craig, and I'm a live engineer and recording engineer. I've been invited over to create a demo for the Soundscape product of the opera Aida. It's been fun putting together the mix in Soundscape because it allows us to create a virtual environment which we can place close mic'd recordings and give them a large, broad space to work within. We might be busy in a different area of music at the moment, but the common thread between us is that we're capturing music and presenting it to an audience, and that's an act of empathy. It's trying to connect the listener to the performer or the creator.
It is much more freedom to create a completely new world of sound out of the music and make the music more feelable for the audience than in stereo. When we were on tour, we did...
No. I think
asking always, can you please switch on the other one again? Because for him it's a wall of sound, and the band is really into it. It's really a step forward.
Working with Soundscape over the last week has been challenging because it keeps on bringing up the question of what we've been doing for so many years, all because the medium of a stereo bus is just flawed. And using the Soundscape, you have to have the courage to let that go and let the performance, the musicians, just speak.
If you're talking about 360, the experience, it explodes for everybody in the room. And you're really in the music. You are not looking at it. You are part of it. As a mixer, you have to look into it like a producer and say which sound should become from where and which emotion I want to have in the room.
Being able to surround the audience and make them feel like they're immersed in a venue, even though they're sitting outside in the sun or the wind. We're finding that the more effort we put into those, the better audience experience.
You hear the voices and the instruments. When it's on the left, you hear it from the left and not from the center or voice of God-like.
The illusion to me is that I'm in a theatre, and it's very rare to find that. I actually haven't heard a room simulation like this before. I'm really keen to see how far we can push that.
Hall 14. This is insane.
Hall 14, the big demo hall.
It's actually where I found out that the bigger the room is, the more you should think about how you place, how you create your painting, your image actually, because don't place rhythmical stuff in the back. That's like the lesson I learned there. It's really nice.
Yeah, we learned a lot of lessons. Yeah, but actually, I think this was a nice intro, especially by Serge, and you already saw the interface and the different moving objects.
Yeah.
But in very simple words, and this is what makes it so fascinating and easy to use, actually, finally, which was the target of our playground sessions, and we actually did in total 4.
Yeah,
And so it is basically, it is a matrix, 64 by 64 channels, and each cross point has its own level and delay. And so every channel can be a single object you can place in the room. So it's not a simple surround or immersive system, so it's really true object-based mixing, and you can decide where to position your objects in the user interface in the software. But again, the real core, and which is also for me as an audio guy and audio enthusiast, it's a super fast audio matrix which has a latency below 1.5 milliseconds.
Yeah. So it's really fast, huh? Yeah.
This is actually what gives us the freedom, and not only the high professionals like Tony David Gray or Serge and others. It can be used for mainstream, and this is actually what we worked out in the playgrounds. And let's come to the playground.
Yeah, because
how did I find you? You touched this story already.
Yeah, because I was doing the live set presentation at SAE, and then you're like, why don't you join me on the new adventure? And this is Soundscape. Come and come to this fair, the ISA fair, was it? I can't remember the name of the fair, but
the ISE in Amsterdam.
ISE, that's it, yeah. ISE fair. And I got probably the one with Nigel Stanford, and then you see the video, but also the sound going all around. And yeah, Nigel Stanford, check it out. This what's it called? Nigel Stanford with what's the name of the track?
It's Automatica.
Automatica, yeah. So if people want to watch it, it's great to watch it.
Second one, I can't remember the title track now. So.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. What I heard. So I joined you for the first playground in I think it was in Nailsworth, right? Yeah. So in the smaller factory, of not the factory, a smaller room, and it really it's so playful, like what they said in the video, that you can place the sounds anywhere, thus creating a totally different emotion, or thus having a totally new performance where you get way more options than you have now. And therefore it's really important that we work on these playgrounds and start coming up with some sort of interface that really works, because the main plan was to get a good interface for everybody to use it, of course.
Yeah, the fascinating thing on top of that for me was, D&B audio technik is very much known, for the big stuff, the big events and the big clubs, So we are very much in Live Nation venues. We are at Ultra Festival, EDC, so all the big electronic music festivals. We are Royal Albert Hall. We are Sydney Opera House.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
And Destino Ibiza. We are Printworks London. So all these big projects and super high-end users.
Yeah.
And still, as a high-end market leader, the management team in Backnang gave me the freedom to kick off this workshop.
Yeah.
And following my idea how to put this mainstream, even with regular stereo files, and not always have 2 or 3 engineers around you to help you mixing, or send you to a studio where you have to do 2 weeks of pre-production before you can even perform on the system.
Yeah.
This is actually very fascinating, and people are really amazed that a market leader like D&B is doing playgrounds with the artist directly.
Yep.
And I will actually never forget. So I went actually to ADE 2017, and I was actually looking for the right artist to start with, and saw all these masterclasses and saw different masterclasses. I was always sitting in the audience like, no, and especially I was an artist myself, so I knew exactly what I was looking for. And then I was sitting in this. I think it was actually the last session before I had to go back to the airport. I sat in the very last
I think you told me this.
The room. Yeah. And then there was this funny guy, Camiel. And then I knew right away, so I did my notes, went to the airport, flew back, and stayed silent for a few months.
Yeah.
And then I called you actually in January. And this was really kind of a cold call. Hello, here's D&B Audio.
Yeah. I was like, what do they want? What do they want?
Yeah, what do you want? And this is how we start. So we invited you to this ISE demo, and then we added Paul Nolan from Liverpool.
Yep.
DJ and producer Paul Nolan to the team. Yeah, and then we started the first playground session in Nailsworth, UK. And that was July 2018. Yeah.
Wow, time flies. It's already 2 years ago. Yeah, wow. Yeah, and it's been very insightful, and also with Paul there as well, and we've been going back and forth, and they actually think we're brothers often. But we've actually been going back and forth about how to what options to give, because we also found that rhythmical stuff should be staying in the front, rhythmical elements, and more like atmospheric sounds can go in the back. So it's a lot of trial and error, and all the steps we made really made me realize that there's so much more to actually to do with sound than what we've been doing up till now. And also your whole perspective changes, and I would really love to see that in our studios. So we have to do a few more of those and test. But even though we have some good results especially with Lemur, I don't know if anybody here knows Lemur. There's a guy that wants to ask a question about ancestors immigrated from Germany. That's funny. Nothing to do with D&B. Sorry, that's weird. Anyway, we got Paul is a cool guy as well. And by the way, somebody says you have a beard. Gerard Jansen, you know him?
I wanted to look a bit more senior, you know.
Yeah, you're great, getting gray, he says. Oh my God.
Gerard is actually one of the coolest sound engineers from the Netherlands. Yeah,
How go?
I guess he's still near Enschede.
He probably will be.
And,
Well,
I never forget when I heard Mother's Finest, and I never heard it so good. So he did really the best mix on Mother's Finest, and that's a band I saw quite a few times.
yeah.
And he really did. Yeah, Gerard is a very cool guy. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, we're just a bunch of cool guys, aren't we? With our technology. So yeah, it's really great that we can share this actually with the people. Do you think there will be what's going to be the future of this this new technology? There's more companies working on this, and yeah, also with the new Corona situation, does that delay everything, or do you think it's actually improving because a lot of promoters have nothing to do now, so maybe they're diving into stuff or into more more things?
Yeah, for me, it's a very interesting point of time because I was anyway before Corona hoping that there will be new concepts available for audio performance. So somehow I'm not sure if all these mass events where 300,000 people stick together and you see a tiny DJ in 500 meters distance performing, and every 30 minutes there's another DJ. So I was always thinking anyway, apart from Corona, if we could maybe come to other entertainment concepts. And then, of course, immersive sound systems, in particular Soundscape, would be a very nice tool for it. Especially, and this was then the main target from the playgrounds, we wanted, again, to go on the system with regular stereo tracks. And this is actually one finding we worked out over the in total 4 sessions. And so what we achieved, and you pointed this out earlier, it really doesn't make sense to fly around all these objects all the time. We really had some key findings to leave the rhythm section in the front, position the objects, and then maybe, if it makes sense, to move certain, but just a few objects in the room, or automate them and loop them. And this is what we achieved, and this is maybe the most interesting information for the viewers, is that we created a workflow that you can use regular stereo files on the system to create a 7.1 upmix. And we put it to a level. We had a demo in Signal Hills, Los Angeles.
Yeah, with Paul, right? Yeah.
With Paul. And we invited club owners and system technicians, and also one guy who integrated Dolby Atmos system in clubs in the past. And by purpose, we asked them, bring the shittiest track you have, MP3 whatsoever, on your USB stick, and we plug it into the system and we put it up to 7.1. And I mean, of course, even our technical crew was a bit scared, but I knew it will work. And actually, as you remember, the key is to position your objects, and as soon as this is done properly in the different zones, then actually you have the total freedom, because again, it's a very fast audio matrix that enables you to do so many things. And actually, it worked so well. So really, we had the crappiest audio files in there, and we scaled them up to 7.1. And one guy was actually lying on the floor, flat, and looking to the ceiling for 15 minutes to digest the result, because we had a very wide and even coverage, even with this from USB regular stereo files. Actually, then the guy who is familiar with the Dolby Atmos system after the session said, well, guys, you have something in hands others are desperately looking for. And this was kind of this little breakthrough, alongside the project, you have these little breakthroughs. And this is where we are. And actually, it's usable. We have a workflow. It's working with regular stereo files, and it gives you many opportunities. So you really have the choice whether to go multi-channel or play live on your Ableton and the push station, creating music from scratch on the system. Regular recorded stereo files, scale it up to 7.1. It's working.
And it translates really well. Because also the performance I did, because I have more of the live perspective, of course, because that's how you found me. So I can send all the channels out from Ableton and just place them in positions. And we divided the room into 2 parts, like what we discovered in Baknang when Ralph came. Rolf came by, and I forgot his name. Oh, bad.
Georg.
Georg. He came and he said, like, why not split the room in two parts? And that's actually really cool. That gave us the sense, okay, so there's a front stage and sort of a backstage, and that gave us really, like, after Paul and me mixed both the track on it, we both had something like, wow, this is it, this is how it should be approached, you know. That's the way that we can get closest to having a really, really good mix, and really sort of wide or like immersive, as we now say. And it's nice to play around, just to have like an iPad with Lemur, where you can build your own MIDI controller and connect it super easy with the DS100. And everything I did really worked instantly, so I could send all the reverbs, the long reverb tails to the back, you know, and then make it smaller again and bigger just by using the iPad next to my Ableton Push, for instance. It's really cool. Yeah, I read the report from Paul and Bill, what they did in England the last time. They were trying with the Allen and Heath.
Zone 96.
96, yeah. So they used it as a USB interface and then started. Because it also has MIDI, and if you use this as a DJ controller for the system, it apparently worked flawlessly. So I can't wait next time to be there as well, because I couldn't make it this time. I don't know where I was. I think I had to play in Paris or something. It was in February. Was it this year or where was it? I was in Thailand still. I don't know. Doesn't really matter.
From Thailand, we had the recording session.
Yeah.
And then a few weeks later, Paul again went up to Stroud, just north of Nailsworth, to do the sandbox session where they did the block diagram and all the schematics and documented the results.
But
this is for your viewers, so there are real results available. You know, it's no vision, it's there. You know, you can even go into regular Allen and Heath mixers. And so actually the software we're using, that's no secret, is a post-production software, Nugent Audio, the Halo app. So it's a $600 software for download. And actually the guys at Nugent Audio were shocked what we are using it for. Yeah. But it works, you know. This is the third-party gear interoperability, you know, what D&B also stands for, that it's so easy to integrate third-party gear into the D&B system environment. Yeah. Actually, if you like, I just saw I have the old report from the first Nailsworth session here. I can share. I can show some pictures.
Yeah, sure. That's nice. Analog Kitchen is asking, how would automated mid-side EQ and panning work? And can you sync the flying sounds to, say, Resolume? Mid-side EQ, it's not really valid anymore, and panning, it's not so much panning, it's more placing. So you're just taking sounds and you're placing them in the room, and the DS100 calculates how much volume and how much delay needs to come out of each speaker in order to sort of place that sound directly on that spot. So there's no panning, there's no left and right signal, there's just a signal, and the signal becomes an object and you can place it anywhere, and there's not real like stereo or mono anymore.
That's maybe a good point. The website is d&baudiotechnik.com. So you can find all the stories and all the technical information on the particular.
I have here d&baudiotechnik.com. I have here the one. There's so much info. Of course, you can't hear it if you don't have the system, but you can see what's been done with it. You also worked with Imogen Heap, right? I think on her birthday or so. It's a great story also. But d&baudiotechnik.com, Lucien, check it out. It's hard to explain, but really this is exactly this question you ask, exactly how I was the first time. Yeah, but I have like here a stereo synth. Should I put one left and one right? Dude, do whatever you want. You know, put one there and one there. Just see what happens. Like, forget about all the stuff you've learned. You know, not everything has to go to two speakers anymore, so there's way more freedom, and it's just mid-side EQ. I don't think we ever need that anymore in the future. Mid-side EQ, it's a great invention, but sorry. I'm really curious to how that will go. Yeah, look, there's me. What am I doing? I'm grabbing coffee. I know.
Just a very interesting and funny picture. So on the very left, this is the R&D software guy Felix.
Felix.
Then there's Crazy Camiel. Next to him is Paul Norton. And Bill Brooks, part or member of our application and engineering support team in the UK office of D&B, and a former member of Ministry of Sound in London. So he's really electronic music driven. And he's a fantastic songwriter himself. And this is actually just to remind you, so how we did the basic setup, on the MacBook, done the network bridge into the system, and then the work interface on the screen.
Yeah, so just to explain, we also installed this Dante software, which is a 32 or 64 in and out virtual. So there's no real sound card, but it's a virtual sound card data-wise, and all the data gets sent through your Ethernet into the system of D&B, which then has 64 sounds for your channels that you can route directly into their system. It's ridiculous.
Also very important, I think, also for our viewers, that I just skip all the text files.
Oh, wait, but this is a happy picture.
After 1 hour into the session, actually, I remember that later on, also when I was with Paul in LA, so the setup actually took 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's really fast, yeah.
And so there's no really hours of cabling and adjustments and fiddling with the mixing console and lots of problems. So it's really like 10-15 minutes setup and 1 hour into the session, and that was the very first one.
Yeah.
This was not like corporate, very much prepared. It was a real playground. We just went in there.
Yeah.
No particular agenda. I'm not a technician, so again, I'm more coming from the artist side, and the other half is more commercial guy.
Yeah.
I literally locked these 4 guys into the room and closed the door and let them play. And 1 hour later, I came back and Camille was already smiling. So this is started very basic and just right into it. Playing.
I can remember this moment. Like I couldn't believe that there was something like this. That you're like in the middle of your music. It's a blessing to be able to do this, and I can't wait for it to really. Really become a product for the consumers, basically. We had the push stations, of course, so we used ableton.
Jam session actually with Paul.
Yeah, that was nice. We made a track
from scratch.
Yeah, on the system, and also there. Yeah, if the people, the left screen, so not the laptop, but the left one, the big screen, is actually this square that you see, and this square is like. There you can actually, the yellow things that you can see are the objects, and you can move them all around the room, basically, in a square. It's like an XY axis, and you can just place sounds anywhere. It's great. Yeah, we also tried having the sub in the back, right? I thought like, oh, why not try a sub in the front and in the back? But then we got phasing problems. But didn't they try this again later on? I think in Signal Hills. Paul told me they tried it again, but...
No, we actually tried... The particular gap in the audio world, it's called the tooth gap. To have the exact distance between 2 subwoofers, but all in the front, to have the best impact.
Yeah.
And to have a dynamic and really punchy sound. And this is what we did in LA. But the subwoofer in the back, as you remember, was not a good idea.
No, because it would get phase cancellations everywhere. So that still is the same. Yeah.
But this is anyway, I think from my point of view, important. So it doesn't make sense to fly around objects all the time or to make the craziest thing. So the best results we really had when we properly positioned our objects, left all the rhythm sections in the front, really punch. And the thing is, and that's why it's called immersive, you're literally embraced by the sound.
Yeah.
So when left and right, we all know this. You have interferences and some sweet spots, some dead spots, and so on in the stereo image.
Yeah.
Stereo image normally only in one position.
Yeah.
But then we're literally embraced by the whole music, and that's the major difference. So it's not the main purpose to fly around things like crazy all the time.
Yeah, that's why the interface is really important. So when it becomes available, that it's actually usable within a certain range, still to be able to be creative, but not to like really, especially when it's doing when you're doing a performance in a club. So, and if we can get an interface that works, then there's nobody needs to be at the club, or maybe one person to help. But for the rest, the artist can do his work on the interface. I think that's the main goal, right? To make here. And what I noticed is that when you have the sounds in the front, you can still have some toms or some percussive elements a bit more to, not to the back, but more or less from to the front, like not all the way at the front, but a bit before. So the first people that are in the first 5 meters of the room are still inside this music, and if you're behind that, you can still see that image. The image is really translatable to the back of the room. And with nowadays, like that's the slide that you once showed me during the presentation of D&B, that only 5% of the people now going to a club is listening to the stereo sound. So everybody's making a mix down at home, like mix down should be great, left, right, blah blah blah, and then only 5% of the people actually can hear it in the club. The rest is listening to the left or the right speaker, which is in essence a mono signal. So then it doesn't matter how it's been mixed down. If you're only listening to the left speaker, then you don't hear all the detail. And with this, like way more percentage of the room is actually receiving the same image that you're creating in the composing stage, so to speak. It's beautiful.
I mean, the example from the LA showroom we had, so the showroom was 20 by 10 meters, and for the demos we made the entire hall a dance floor, and we actually had fully even coverage, and that's one of the main advantages.
Yeah.
So don't, interferences, dead spot, sweet spot mixture. We had fully even coverage, and this was actually one of the reasons why one of the technicians had to lie down staring at the ceiling for 15 minutes, because he never heard something like that it's so even. He couldn't find a dead spot on the dance floor.
Exactly, yeah. No notes or anti-notes, as you call them, right? Where music is out of phase and cancels each other out or becomes double as loud, that sort of stuff. Yeah. Wow, it's simply the most exciting innovation in sound and music since as far back as I can remember. It's the single most significant development in my life in music. Signed, Paul Nolan. It's something he would say for sure. Yeah. And that was, of course, a very big motivation for me to push the program ahead. Yeah.
And then to do the second playground just a few months later in the big hall 14, where we saw Serge in the earlier video.
Yeah.
And put it to the next level. And then, as you remember, you indicated this at the beginning. We had time travel problems.
Yeah. Paul and me were like looking at each other, huh? What have we done wrong? What are we not getting here? Literally, like we were like, we were so excited, and Neil's word, it was so easy, and now, but you guys already knew. You were just trying to figure out what we were going to do, or because you probably had somebody that had this before, right? I guess.
But this is also what you could see. Partly the same people you could see in the video with Serge were part then and joined us, as you remember, in the demo hall. And then Georg, the product manager for the system, really showed us how to position objects and make virtual areas 1, 2, or virtual stage, and how to deal with it. Yeah. And then I think after 3 hours adjustments, we were there again.
Yeah, really fast. Also, it was a bit of, because then we had to mix down the tracks all over again. But once we did on this, then the whole image stayed like this for you could walk around the area, and it's like, how long is it? Is it 80 meters long or 50 meters?
You're very generous with numbers, Camiel.
I don't know.
The hole is 35 meters.
35.
Meters, yeah.
Okay, 500 meters. So it's 500 meters long.
800 meters.
Okay,
yeah.
So I don't know. I just it looked really big, and I'm an exaggerator. That's my that's my role. So 35 meters long. So even if you were only totally at the end, it would still be like a really good image that you have. Instead of like when we just entered with our mixes that we made in Aylesford. So we also learned a lot about how it would translate from a smaller venue to a bigger venue, and what you need to consider working in a smaller venue, that you still have this scaling of area 1 and 2, that you really need to keep that in mind. You know, it's really nice to get this. Analog Kitchen is really curious to see this in action. We should take Lucien. We should take Lucien one day. He's a true geek. He showed last week in the show. I had him last week on the show, and he knows a lot about hardware. So I think he will love this stuff. So we're gonna have another underground playground for sure. So join it. You know, yeah.
There's definitely more to come.
More people.
It's just a question.
Me too. Said what.
The next session is Switzerland, right? With you, Camiel.
Yeah. So yeah, I was supposed to happen already in April, but obviously due to the virus, I couldn't go. But now in the end of October, if everything goes well or stays the same, there's no other waves coming in, then I go to Switzerland and do another live set. I've got my iPad ready with Lemur, with my controller, so really looking forward. And it's going to be the same thing what you did in Signal Hills, maybe invite some promoters or engineers as well.
The very cool thing is, and this is really what I love, so I always also look how to reach out to the next generation of artists and decision makers, you know?
Yeah.
Camiel, we are both old already, but there's a new generation coming up. And actually, the playground in Switzerland is organized by our distributor d&baudio. And the location is really cool. I did a location check in February already. So this is really super cool. It's a bit similar to Signal Hills in LA.
Yeah.
And so with curtains all around, really nice location, and the high ceiling, so lots of room to deal with.
Yeah.
And the idea is, big part of the idea is to invite especially the youngsters.
Yeah.
Of course, also the established stakeholders, but also the youngsters, to show them how easy it is actually to work with such a high-end system.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah.
Not limited to a small group of super experienced people. It's available for everything.
Yeah, and that's what you've been working on for 2 years, right? Yeah. And yeah, it you know, the iPad really works with this. I see more people actually coming in. Really looking forward to dancing to this in the club one day. Yeah, actually, you've rigged a few clubs already, right? In Europe and abroad with this system, like in Hong Kong where Britta played.
Yeah, we did, of course, a few electronic music festivals with it, and this is now the typical combination. It starts with the festivals. I mean, it comes from the underground, then it goes into the festival side, tested and loved by the artists, and then it goes into the in-store projects. And we were actually just ready to finalize the first installation in a club in California.
Yeah.
Before then the lovely Corona crisis hit in, but just before that we had like 6 pending inquiries and projects in the pipeline. So this is now just a question of time when we will have the first fixed install in a club environment.
Yeah. Do we maybe have that movie as well from Hong Kong where they talk about the system? Is that idea to show?
Let's watch Britta, right?
Yes. I invited her today to come in the show. So she's gonna come, I think 19th of August she will be in the show. And but they're slowly getting back to gigs, you know. Also Duncan is playing this weekend.
Yeah, cool.
Going to Norway, so it's sort of like booting up again, but obviously the parties will be bit different. Soundscape, all the rave in Hong Kong. Wow, all the rave. Yeah.
This is like 3 minutes or something like that. Really cool. I mean, Hong Kong, very cool location, super duper system, and a fantastic technical team.
Yeah.
And Britta in the video.
Maybe you can do a full screen. Is that possible?
Hello, I'm Jonathan Lulin. My prerogative today is to be the technical manager for Alternate Music Festival in Hong Kong. So here we have the D&B Soundscape installation with Y series associated with the subwoofer B22. We have almost 30 boxes all around us.
My name is Charlie Toller. I'm one of the co-founders of Alternate. Alternate is an electronic dance music festival in Hong Kong. We've always liked the performance of the speakers. They're industry standards, they are really well regarded, and the team in Hong Kong has a good capacity to serve our needs, and we really enjoy working with the team here.
我係D&B Great China 嘅 Alex 潘，咁我係今次負責同主辦單位溝通嘅 D&B 廠家代表。喺大概半年前咧，佢喺唔同途徑咧聽到 D&B 有一個新嘅 Soundscape 嘅 system 出現，佢哋覺得幾有趣，然後我哋就一齊 work out 去睇下可唔可以做成呢幾件事。
I'm Britta Arnold from Berlin. I'm a part of the d&baudio family. It's a club in Berlin. A friend of mine told me like speakers all over like 360 all over the room. So I'm really curious how my sound sounds like it. But also when I'm done playing, I'll definitely be here and stay around and partying and listening.
Everyone was really surprised with the sound quality, with the surrounding effects. All the people who were located inside the square of the system were completely immersed by the sound of the DJ. Even the DJ themselves came to listen during their performance.
Soundscape gives us a new realm of possibility. It allows us to create a more immersive experience for the people that come to the festival and people who come to experience the level of artists that we're bringing to Hong Kong.
Then you have also the new experience actually when you're in the middle of the room.
From everyone, a fantastic and great experience.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I wonder now if everybody still is gonna go to the DJ or they're just gonna stand anywhere in the room, because I noticed that when we were doing this, we would start walking around and stuff, you know, and that's what you see also when we did the presentation for the D&B employees. Everybody walks around and just to experience this from different angles, and that's something you don't have now. People just go, oh, there's the DJ, you know, and you know, it's cool how this will change maybe.
Well, this actually goes back to your earlier question now, how maybe entertainment concepts will change. And I had a chat with Robert Henke like 2 years ago, and I saw him fighting at the venue to have the position in the middle, directly in the audience. Yeah. And I think he was fighting for it for 2 or 3 hours, but he finally did it. And he got a center position right within the audience, set up his gear, and was then in a quad system, so 4-point system surrounded. And it was one of the best gigs I've ever seen, because everybody could see what he's doing. You know, normally what you just described, the people are worshipping the DJ, who's standing on stage like we as a metal band in the past. But this was so interactive and it was so cool. Yeah. And I can imagine that this can be part of the future. So it is anyway. We have solutions created, as you remember, especially in Hall 14, to have monitoring. Yeah. Because if you have not the center position as a DJ, you need proper monitoring to hear what you're doing and where the sound is moving and where your objects are in the room. Yeah. So we have this, but by far the best situation to be in and have the best experience for both the audience and the artist is really the center position. Yeah. Especially the people can see what you're doing, and you yourself, you hear exactly what they hear. Yeah. So there's no difference. And
and that's nice actually.
It goes this direction, because I saw it with Robert, and it was definitely one of the best gigs there.
Yeah, and also if it's a square room, and you're standing on one side, actually if I move something to the right, it's actually moving to the left if I look into the room. So it's a bit trippy. Actually, there's also a question from Johan. So what kind of place / room is the best to have this system? Like what kind of shape, inside, outside? You know, is there any data on this? Like a round venue works better, or can it work in any? I know you make the mappings of the whole room inside the system, right? They make N scene that you make the whole.
Yeah, so it's a combination of array calc. So we have a design tool to design a room and to dedicate the amplifier channels and the system design, and then put it together with the end scene, which is then the 180-degree system or the 360-degree system. But actually, I mean, as you know, you've been part of it when we did the round room at Dance Fair. There's not much of a difference in the shape of the room. So because the system, as it is, especially when it's 360, it's defining the area where you have the sound.
Yeah.
Anyway, so and most of the venues are in a rectangular or squared shape. But of course, we also have a system set up in a Royal Albert Hall, which is a round format. But actually, it doesn't make a big difference as the speaker setup around makes the setup.
Yeah, and it's all calculated so in distance as well. So it will the system will immediately make sure the representation of the sound is reflectable on where you place the sound. It will sound there. It doesn't matter if there's like a corner in the room. Of course, you will have challenging rooms or whatnot. But what I noticed in the what I really liked from the round one, like the dance fair presentation that I did, because it's round, I had more the feeling when I would make the round shape on my controller, my iPad that I built, the lemur patch that I built, that it would just go round really, and it really would go round. You really saw people like, whoa, it's going round, whoa, you know. And also on the you also have this in the square ones, but because it's round, it feels a bit more that it's like happening in a circle, which is maybe also sort of, I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping out here. All right. If anybody has any questions for Michael, let me know. He knows a lot. He's an old rocker. It's cool. I didn't want to talk about the old rocker, but you started yourself. It's really funny. I've never seen this picture. Yeah, it's really cool. So
when it's a rock and mixing, then we have to invite Gerard to the session again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah. I think a lot of guys at D&B are old rockers, aren't they? Yeah.
I mean, as I said at the beginning, most of us are, artists who never made it to be stars. So and so we all end up at companies like D&B.
Yeah. Well, it's fine though. It's you do what you love. I think that's the most important, Joe. So. Also, I'm really curious to the Robert Henke story because I've never met him yet. I really love to talk to him about this because I've been a fan. Nice. He's did a Mono Lake, like a Trezor CD. I had a Trezor CD from Mono Lake, and I had the Mono Lake CD with the Trezor like way back. I think that's 18 years ago. So it's nice to see what he did with Soundscape as well.
Yeah, again, so Robert is a super nice person, very much down to earth, very open to new ideas, and also a fantastic artist. So and he's doing some really experimental stuff here.
Yeah, cool. Let's check it out. Then I have another question for you.
There's leftover sound files which I found. I used a lot of field recordings, a lot of nature recordings, a lot of water recordings, but also machines. And I was always looking for a rusty quality, for something that is not perfectly polished, that is not perfectly in tune, for all these things that have an ambiguity in it. I take very, very short parts of this file, like a fraction of a second, and randomly reorder them. So you end up with this mess of sound which you can still control and shape. So you have this flickering thing like dust in the air. I compose for this space, so I move sound sources around in this space. I have a very special situation here at Court de Supernova. I have the luxury to use the exact same loudspeaker setup, which I will also use at Palazzo Grassi. The D&B Soundscape systems allows me to dive really deep into details of the placement of sound sources. Hearing is capable of discriminating sound sources from all over. For me, this comes very natural to use multiple channels, to just place my music within a rich complex sound field. So the D&B Soundscape systems allows me to have very, very precise sound, even in an environment that is less than optimal. We have an amazing clarity of sound in here. For someone who likes specialized sound, this is pretty much paradise here. There must be some beauty, however you define beauty. There must be intricate detail. There must be a moment of being overwhelmed. And I find it just far more rewarding to listen to a complex sound field that is all around me than to listen to a stereo setup.
Yeah. And so it begins. Yeah, it's, you know, what he says, if for somebody that likes specialized sound, this is pretty much paradise. It really is like that. I get reactions like, oh my god, and wow, just wow. Is there any presentation coming to NL soon, Michael? Well, you were working on one playground here.
Actually, yes, but then, yeah, at the moment everything's on hold,
Yeah.
but this was on the agenda anyway. Yeah,
Yeah, so
with you guys, Noordwijk,
yeah,
near Amsterdam, so
yeah.
that's kind of a no-brainer.
Maybe somewhere outside in a nice like area, you know, that would be cool.
Option, I'm still, I mean, as you know, I love the Paradigm in Groningen.
Ah,
So
yes.
still dream to have it in the forest stage one day.
Oh man, that would be awesome. It's actually, I'm playing there next week. They also opened sort of, so they now can do terrace and that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's nice. Gonna see everybody there next week. Hi guys, see you next week. Yeah, it's great. Would be great to have like a session there. That's a great area and a great place to try this out. And yeah, I can't wait for this to go all over. It's so nice, and everybody's like reacting here like wow, oh wow, and having such a room and sound system is the dream already. Yeah, exactly. It just the sound system in your room already would be great. So yeah, let's hope we can do that in the future. That'll be great. I at least can't wait for October. I've been looking forward to it. I actually have lots of new music that I can jam on the system. So I also made some more dance floor stuff, but also some less dance floor, because I find that also what Robert Henke was doing, like the slow sounds and move them around, is really awesome. But also like dance floor stuff really works well on the system. So that's really nice to have best of both worlds, basically. Yeah.
Actually, while you're pointing out Robert again, so he actually shows that this is not only a performance tool, it's also a production tool.
Yeah.
It's both. And this is, again, it makes it so unique. It's a matrix, super fast matrix. You can do so many things with it. And it is also a tool for music production.
Yeah, definitely.
I still remember when Paul said he's actually, after the second session, he was actually like, yeah, he needs to produce music maybe exclusively on this system. Yeah. Because as soon as you have touched it, it's very difficult to go back
to stereo. Yeah, yeah.
It gives you so many new options and opportunities to
to
create music even before you record it. To create music and have the vision what you can do and what you want to put across as an artist.
Yeah, it's a totally different. So it's sort of similar in a way where you place the low end, but that's the only thing. Like kick and bass you put in the middle. But for other genres, if you're making more abstract kind of, maybe some dubstep, I can imagine that having multiple places where low end is coming from, or maybe some abstract ambient electronic jazz, whatever. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff with it and have things move around, or have a filtered version left and have a unfiltered version right, and then have them swap around. Also, what I really liked is on Lemur I created this sort of like XY thing with a ball, and the ball I had one that was steady, but also one I could just flick it and it was like ding 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 ding. It would be like flicking around, so the sounds at dancer would be just jumping around and hitting corners, and just every time jumping it's like a ball throwing a ball in the room, and it's ding 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 ding, but then it's sound. It's insane. I can't wait for October.
But that's a very good thing, and again, this was part of the approach to really, also you and Paul, as you said, you created your own interfaces on Lemur, on iPads, on an iPhone, iPhone, on an iPhone. And it's so super easy and intuitive. So it's really, this is exactly what I was hoping for, to put it really to a usable level for everybody. It's really available. It's easy to use. You can create your own user interfaces. Yeah,
it works with Touch OSC. Yeah? So basically, if you have a MIDI controller, most or like iPads, they will work with Touch OSC. So you can use a lot of. There's actually we worked with Lemur, because I tried a few other ones, but Lemur came closest to just the design and interface that I really liked, and gave me all the options. But there's a few more that will work, because it actually works with everything. But there's just some interfaces that are better than others. But it's all. I think it's ready to to go live. Let's let's book a club and let's kill Corona.
Yeah, but again, this is only the tip of the iceberg. We only started. 4 sessions is actually nothing, and this was just playing around. Of course, with proper documentation, but there's so much more to discover, and the opportunities are there, much more out there. But we had a good start. Let me put it, and
definitely.
It's usable. So within 2 years, we put it from the first playground into a stage where you can really use it at the festival, in a club. As a production tool, so it's available. And each artist that's going to join the playground will probably have ideas, and there's more. The more people that come to the table will bring ideas, and it will grow from there. And like also this when I came, I think the first time we didn't have the new gen plugin. The first time we didn't have it right. It was the second time, and I came there, and it's just a stereo file playing, and he just pressed like, here, check this out. And suddenly the track, which is normal stereo file, came out of it became immersive. And I think this is a great thing for DJs to be able to still use sort of the old interface with the decks and a mixer, but then have just a few more options to have a third USB where you can send out vocals around the room, or long reverb tails around the room, or effect sounds around the room, while still maintaining the power and the energy that you have during a normal DJ set. Awesome stuff. So this could be a nice opportunity. Did you ever have a premiere in your live sessions? Well, a global premiere? I am a global premiere every week, Michael. They never know what I mean. No, I'm not sure. Yes, Josh Butler showing his new EP. I have a lot of premieres here. It's Premiere Land here. So join me. But I never had a premiere from D&B on my show, so that's a premiere on itself. And it's your first time you're on my show, so that's a premiere as well. So let me show you the landing page, which is actually very fresh, dated on yesterday.
Oh wow! Look at it.
Club music landing page. So this is a landing platform for all the electronic music enthusiasts. Of course, there are some text files, and you see the case studies, some of them, what we're doing, how we see our workflow, the Soundscape again. The playground is reflected here.
Ooh.
And Noise Calc, another software package, and some really cool products. And this is maybe the most interesting one. If you want to contact me, just drop me an email on this contact form, and it will land on my desk. So if you have a question, just drop me an email.
Yeah.
And then we develop it from there. And this is really fresh. Yeah, it's just online yesterday.
Nice. Oh, but you didn't tell me yet. You thought like, I'm going to keep this for the show. How great. How cool. This is great, So it's really growing. I'm happy because the more it's growing, the more we will have this at home at some point.
Yeah, I think it's just a question of time. We tested it now also in real life applications, and it simply works.
Yeah,
and it's just a question of time. But again, it's a very big chance to realize new entertainment concepts.
Yeah.
I mean, the world will be different after Corona anyway.
Yeah.
So the new normal requires different technologies, and I strongly believe Soundscape is one of these technologies that will enable us to do something different.
Yeah, and also in different venues, of course. It doesn't need to be a club, but also in clubs, if there's a different setting, it might change the whole thing. Like also the theater, like how it was used in a theater for a musical. That I don't know. Did you tell the story about the character on stage playing? The character was slowly getting insane. So there's this voice in this character head that was constantly speaking, or it was the bad person speaking, or the good person, or something like this. And then at some point they had at first they had like the bad one, the bad thoughts coming from the other side of the room, and the good thoughts from the front. And at some point it would flip around. It would go round, round, and round, and then the bad person took over, and then the bad person was in the front, and the good person was in the back. The sound, so you can actually enhance a story greatly with this kind of technology, which is ridiculous. I thought you told me, but must be somebody else in the.
Maybe it was Ralph. So Ralph is very close to the theater scene. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It was, or it was a dance fair. The technician that was there, that was not the Spanish guy.
Oh, Javier. Okay.
Javier, I think Javier told me this, but I'm not sure. There's so many guys we met at D&B. So, hey, I have a question. Does this email also work for job application? Jerry asks. Jerry just did my course, and he's looking for a job. So,
I mean, there's a section on the corporate page, but if you write it to me, of course, I can hand it over to HR from my side. Yeah.
Yeah, and they can, they can check it out. And
you know what we forgot?
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that you attended Colin Bender's gig in the concert.
Oh wow! Yeah, that was insane. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so. Yeah, there was something. Yeah, Colin Bender. So maybe I should get him in the show as well at some point. Even though I don't know him that well, so I'm trying to get only people I know. But I've met him only at Dance Fair. Then when I did the show, they came. I showed him briefly, like, oh yeah, this is how I do it with the lemur patch. I sent his technician my lemur patch for them to use during the show at the Amsterdamse Concertgebouw. So actually, what Johan says, I want to see this happening in a club in Amsterdam. It already happened. I was there with my old roommate Bas. We went there, and he had this whole modular system going through the D&B system. It had like a lot of objects going around, and it was a hell of a journey, to be honest. Like it was. It was quite heavy though, like really intense, the sound. I bet the one from Robert was the same, but it's nice to see that. I could see the lemur patch going in the front. They had like a little screen where they could, like, I think move the objects from the lemur. Yeah, it was great to see this going. And Colin Benders is already like a very forward-thinking artist, so it didn't surprise me that you worked with him. But wow, and then in the Concertgebouw. It was insane.
Shows interest, So I mean, Colin is doing really complex stuff.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he even used 128 channels.
I think so. Yeah, he used.
It was really, really wild.
Yeah, he's like, okay, let's try with this.
Put this together. You have this weird and complex stuff, but the same system is usable with regular stereo MP3s on a USB stick in the system.
Yeah.
And between. So many things are possible.
It's nice. You can take it anywhere.
That's actually the Soundscape. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I'm happy. Thank you for asking me to join. And it's insane that I've been like 2 years ago really on this system. And I can't wait to do it again. I miss it. It's nice. I'm sitting here with my stereo speakers. Help! Somebody come get me. Yeah, I know it's insane. I can't wait for everybody else to experience this, and that this will be the standard. But it will be the standard. It just takes a lot of time because, before this whole narrative of using two speakers in stereo will change. Yeah, you're just thinking about a few years down the lane, but in the meantime we can build up the interface as smooth as it gets, and slowly but surely. I think there's already some festivals. I think El Acoustic is working with their system on festivals already. You guys have been working with Kraftwerk, Imogen Heap, and with loads of other projects, so it's coming, and I can't wait for it to be there and to do a live set on a nice gig.
This actually, you pointed out one point. I mean, there is still headroom, for improvement, and I think we still need to go ahead to learn and improve our user interfaces,
Yeah.
to make them even more intuitive. And so there's so much work to do, and the best way to do it is actually together with the artists who are using the systems.
Yeah.
But this is actually one point, that the user interfaces to improve on this side.
Yeah.
It will be a big part, and I think this will be also a big part of the next playground session.
Yeah, just to work really on the GUI, as they say, the general user interface, so yeah, I also have here. I wanted to ask you what are the next steps that besides Playground, are there other big projects that D&B is working on, or is that all stopped during coronavirus? Is there anything that you can mention that's going to happen, with an artist that's currently working on the system to show something in the near future?
Well, good question. I don't know if there's a particular artist preparing something, but of course we are using the time to improve the system on the feature side.
Yeah.
So our R&D is heavily using this time to improve on the system and add more features, but I'm not aware of a particular kind of gig or tour which is in preparation at the moment.
Yeah. So now it's just waiting for the system, for the world to open up a bit more, and we'll see us at a Playground and hopefully in Switzerland. I hope it stays the way it is, and no more you got to stay home now, because I really wanna meet you in Switzerland. You're coming to Switzerland as well, right?
Yes, of course. When was it? Was it 28th?
I think 24 or 28. I think the last week. I said maybe the week after ADE, because I'm not sure if ADE is gonna go, but don't think so. I'm not sure if it's allowed. Depends on what the Dutch government says on the 1st of September. What's the new society doing? So yeah, but 28, I think. Yeah. So for all the people from Switzerland. That's gonna be cool. I can't wait. I've never been to Switzerland actually. I flew over it, but never really landed. So
they have a fantastic live music and club scene and fantastic artists. So it's really interesting to see this. Normally Switzerland is seen as a very rich, business hub, but you have also a very cool underground scene, fantastic international artists, and they have a passion for new technologies, playing with new things and never stop exploring the next big and cool thing. So, would be really cool if this happens.
Yeah, excited to go there, man. It's nice, and actually they also have a very lenient, how do you call it, very open Corona vibe there. You can just go to clubs with 300 people, but everybody gets registered. They're a bit ahead of the rest, I think. So I hope it stays all under control, and we can enjoy the soundscape soon somewhere on the planet. That would be nice. Yeah. So let's wrap this one up, Michael. I want to thank you so much for being here and sharing the Soundscape story, and again for inviting me for a seat at the table, as Paul said it many times. And I can't wait to explore more, and that we get the rest of the world to enjoy it as well.
Yeah, so all my pleasure. I mean, you're a true pioneer. You've been most touching it.
Well, as you are now a pro screen sharer, I became a Soundscape pioneer in 2 years. Yeah, crazy.
That's a new title. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
they're giving me the opportunity to show some pictures and videos what we've done, and I think the audience can imagine what's possible, and this is just the actual status. There's much more to come.
Yeah, it's only the beginning. Yeah, some people are, oh my god, and we need this. I want to hear this. So, yeah, you know, it is. And actually, Fantasia said she's heard it in that dance fair, and she's like, you know, we really need this. So everybody that hears it goes like, oh yes, can't wait. So we did a good job today, Michael. We spread the word.
Yeah, if there's questions coming up, so just use the contact form, or just contact me via Camiel. So I'm always here.
Yeah, people can mail me anytime. I'll put you in contact. And if you have a cool venue or you have a cool idea, let us know, and let's take it from there.
Yeah, and just follow the social media channels from D&B.
Yeah,
we are on Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn, YouTube. So
yeah,
definitely worth it. So there's lots of cool gear out there.
Yes. Well, thank you for being here, Michael. Let's wrap it up. Thank you so much, and we'll chat soon.
Stay safe and sound, everybody.
You.
And see you around.
All right. Bye.
Take care.
Bye. So, that was Michael, D&B Audio. What a nice guy, and I'm so happy he took me to this project, and I can't wait for you all to hear it. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. There's a few familiar faces every week, which is nice. I hope to also inspire some new people. Check out my YouTube. It's the Lessons in Live page channel on YouTube. There's all the videos with all the artists I had in the past. Next week is Odette. She's a really good friend of mine. We know her for many years, and she makes awesome music and a lot of music. She has a cool label, so she's going to be next. We got Roland's coming up. Spoke to Britta Arnold. She's coming up. Spoke to one other guy, but he doesn't know yet if he dares. But I'll let you know. But at least it's the next ones are Odette's and Roland's. And thank you for watching. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Fantasia. And thank you, Wadowski. And thanks again, Michael and D&B Audio, for tuning in. And I'm going to wrap this one up. And we'll see each other next week for sure. Bye.